Hey YouTube, Lawler here as always, and it is time for our predictions. That's right, it is the third and final open of European RLCS for the first split. Teams attempting to go to Birmingham. If you guys didn't check out my video yesterday, all the playoff scenarios, everything you need to know about what teams need to do to qualify to make the major, make sure you check that out. Watch that during the matches that are going down this Friday. But today's video, we're going to be talking about who we think is actually going to make it based upon predictions and stuff. This one, I think a lot of people are going to see some similarities, but overall, I do think it is open for debate. What's not up for debate is today's sponsor. Today's video sponsor is Prizepicks, the best place to earn cash while watching your favorite sports, or esports in my case. As you guys know, I'm a huge Green Bay Packers fan, and I've been using this app for quite a while, but I've also been really much so enjoying doing this with my chat on streams. While before the matches start on Fridays, we pick a roster. If you guys are unfamiliar, what you can do is you go and see what the matchups are. You kind of find your favorite players that you think are going to have the best advantage. And the way that it goes is I say, okay, I think Energy is going to do really well this weekend. I look at their players and I see what stat is associated to them. Is it goals? Is it assists? Is it save? And do I think they're going to average more or less than that? Based upon how big my lineup is determines on what the payout is. And I have the ability to actually try if I want to go all or nothing, if I only want to get a majority of them right. There is a bunch of different options and a bunch of different ways you can play. If you sign up using code Lawler, you can put in a $5 deposit and they will give you a $50 credit whether you win or lose or not. If you'd like additional details, information can be found in the description below with a link to everything I'm talking about. With that said, let's get back to the video. All right, as you guys know how I do my predictions, we already did these on stream with chat, twitch.tv/Lawler if you want to come hang out with us. We've already gone through what our picks and stuff are. Rather than making you guys watch through the humming and the hawing of the decision making, we kind of cut through these real quick. As you guys know from what I showed on Tuesday's video, is Group A is heavily stacked. We've got K-Corp, Vitality, NIP, Geek, Gentlemates, and so many others all on the same side of the bracket. If you guys aren't familiar with the point rankings in the system right now, the only team that is guaranteed is K-Corp. K-Corp has solidified their spot. Big names we're paying attention to: NIP, Mates, Geek, Ascend, Start Point, 100%. A lot of people still in the running. Statistically, everybody is still in the running, assuming they win the entire thing, which is unlikely. But K-Corp hasn't given us a reason to not believe in them. They continue to be dominant. I'm going to keep picking them. I don't think there's any surprise there. K-Corp I have going in as the high seed, as the #1 overall, as expected. The crazy thing is we will see a very early matchup with Vitality, and Vitality has definitely been having their struggles. Definitely some mishap. I would not be surprised if Geek out of the gate does beat them, but I also know Geek doesn't really put in the hours. So Vitality probably maybe a little bit happy about that draw. I'm hoping they're grinding, they're putting in their time. But this is a chance for Geek to really separate it and give themselves an advantage. Whether that happens or not, we'll have to find out. I don't foresee Synergy beating NIP. And Mates and Ascend, I actually had a pretty tough time predicting, but the narrative that I'm going to create and the narrative that I want to talk about is, while I have been harsh on Mates, I do not see the success. I have, based upon my eye tests in the first two events, have been very, very difficult on them and have been rewarded for that opinion. But I do think what they are trying to attempt, if this is my assessment of things, is that they are trying to get away from what was their playstyle previously. Very challenge heavy, 1-goal games, very high pressure, high stress type moments. And if you create Radosin with opportunity to demo and get in the face of teams, maybe that is no longer the place. Maybe they do have a more assertive offense. Maybe they do start winning by more goals. Probably going to take some time for that to build and develop. Now, I personally believe that they don't have the right pieces to make that possible. I just don't know. I think there's too much similarity. I think it's too much overlap. It kind of reminds me of like back when AJ, FK, and stuff were all on the same team. It was just too much of the same. But I will like to say is that they're still a very talented team with some very good players that I think will get more comfortable and better over time. And I'm going to choose to believe in that. I think Mates will be able to play a close game against Ascend with the new kids on the block. That's my opinion. but then are going to lose to the better team in Ninjas in Pajamas, who will then play a close series against K-Corp and ultimately lose, but still secure a guaranteed top 6, which is very good for them if you guys have looked at the tiebreaker scenarios.
Huntington.
On the low side of that, I do think GK will find a way to go up against Mates, and to me, this one is a true coin flip. I don't know who's going to win this series. A week ago would have said GK. Maybe I'm changing my mind on it. But part of me is like, I want to keep the hope alive and give us some really fun playoff scenarios come Championship Sunday. So that's what I'm doing selfishly for narrative purposes. Completely biased. I don't care. But I'm going to choose to believe in Mates. As of right now, Mates is at 8 points. GK is at 7. And Mates moving forward makes things more interesting. So that's what I'm going with. Also, how crazy it would be is for the green suits and Mates to finally get a chance to play in Lyon and not make the Worlds. It's going to be painful if that's the case. On the other side, I do think Ascend is a better team overall than Synergy, and I've proven that consistently. And then Ascend going up against the big bad Vitality going to be tough. I think Vitality is the best team in this lower side, even with the struggles that they've been facing. What Vitality we're going to get this weekend, I do not know. I don't know if we're going to get back to form or if it's still going to take some time. Will Vitality even make the major? That is part of the conversations that we are facing. On the other side of the bracket, you guys can see obviously early iterations, but these are the teams that I have moving forward. And some of you guys are going to look at that and be like, what the heck are you doing? And it's about having fun on this side of the bracket, because I think Dignitas has the easiest run to guaranteed top 6 and a spot at the major that they have ever and could have ever asked for due to Vitality causing some issues. I think Dignitas has a free run into top 6 as long as they don't mess it up. Their hardest match is going to be the one to start, because once you get here, they're loose. They've already locked in their spot. They're happy. And like, who you play in lowers, I don't think it really matters. If you drop down into, or if you play in uppers and you're in that top 4 spot, I don't think it matters who you play, because you're either playing K-Corp or NIP. Both matches are going to be difficult. Would you rather have NIP? Yes. But like at the end of the day, it's still best of 7. It's going to be tough to win. So like once you get here, you're vibing. Top 6, we're living. Life's good. On the other side, I do think 100% deserves the respect. I think they play a very competitive series against Start Point in the uppers. I think this is winnable for Start Point, but I'm going to choose to believe in Acro and the guys. I think they have proven that. I think they've shown consistency in moments, and it's not fluky. On me for doubting them as much as I have. With that in mind, they have been moments from going 0-2. They have shown that there is potential to drop in this series, but they still find ways to win, and that's all that matters. I'm going to choose to believe them, and I'm going to choose to believe in the consistency, even though EU tends to never do that. I expect some crazy upset in one of these. Who it's going to be, I don't know. But outside of that, Caliente over Spanish Bim Bam, and somehow I look at this lower side, I have a hard time, even though I like Cash, Toxic, and Smokes. I think they're good. I don't know if they're going to beat Sizen, K-Dop, and Growly. And selfishly, I want K-Dop to make top 8. If Speed can make top 4, why can't K-Dop make top 8? Why not? So I'm going to do that. I'm going to have K-Dop making top 8 because it's awesome. RRG and stuff going to run into Starpoint, and I think Starpoint is one of the better teams out of these 8. So I'm going to have Starpoint and Caliente coming in from top 8s and lowers. Dig and 100% going to be matching up against K-Corp and NIP. And this is how it's going to look. K-Corp gets 100% and smacks him in the face. NIP and Dignitas, that's a coin toss. That to me is a... If you win this series, you go to the major. That's what this match means. To me, that's just teeing it up for the broadcast and saying, hey, this match is going to be incredible. Absolutely incredible. It'll be the match of the day, and it won't even be close. On the low side, I don't see Vitality losing to K-Dop, and Mates and Starpoint, I think, could go either way. But I'm going to continue to believe in the narrative that Mates, while they have been a little bit fussy at times, I do think they'll get the job done and give themselves a chance for Split 2 to try to make Worlds. Unfortunately, they do run into teams that I think are just ultimately better than them. And Dignitas has the firepower and the speed to take on Mates right now. Maybe the nerves will come into play, but we have seen Yoris break the curse. We'll see if it continues. Outside of that, 100% of Vitality. I think this is the one most realistic upset of the bracket. While I'm selfishly doing this for just placement purposes and for its excitement, because if Vitality wins this, then we have our top 4. That's who's going to the major. It's over. It's done. No one cares. But if 100% does happen to beat a Vitality that's been struggling as of late, which 100% notoriously is known for winning the very close high-pressure games, maybe it happens. And if it does happen, cool. Realistically, I would normally, as a betting person, pick Vitality, but we're keeping the stuff alive. We're going 100%. And then NIP 100%, the difference here, just for point ranking purposes, if this happens, and say 100% happens to win, I mean, missing by 1 point. Imagine. You guys can't see that. Let me move it over. Like, imagine if this actually happens. Imagine 100% goes in a 3-way tie and finds a way to beat out and knock out NIP. So, to me, a lot of this bracket is me trying to provide reasons to keep watching this weekend outside of the best teams made it and they continue to win. If this happens, then this makes this way more exciting. Vitality spot's fine. They'll be okay. They hit the magic. The magic number is 22, by the way. Anytime you're trying to look at it, I think next split it's 26 because of the point increase. But like 22 is the magic number, and they hit that. So by me doing this, it makes it more exciting. It makes it more entertaining. The narrative becomes more engaging, and that's what we have. So in the meantime, on the other side, I don't see a world where K-Corp doesn't win. They haven't given us a reason to doubt them. I'm going to continue to believe in them until they show us otherwise. The same thing applies to NRG. Until NRG shows they're not going to be at a grand final, I'm going to put them in the grand final. That's just the reality of things. That's a little bit of spoilers for next week, but that's what I've got. Either way, I appreciate you all coming and tuning into the prediction video. If you guys have any additional questions, comments, concerns, let me know down below. We'll be doing watch parties and stuff with drops on for those that need to get your fancy rewards. But that is it. That's what I got for my predictions. That's who I've got going to the major. The teams that I predicted out of the gate way back at the beginning of the season in January: K-Corp, NIP, Dignitas, and Vitality. Not in that particular order, but that's what I've got. That's who I have. That's who's going to the major, and I think it's going to make for a very good international event in Birmingham. And we can maybe see some pretty interesting storylines develop. We'll see what happens. But as always, if you guys enjoy the content, like, subscribe, notifications. Let me know what you guys feel down below. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.